That time again. Time for another HHN video. Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary! What is going on, everybody? I know everybody was been looking forward to the next HHN video in the list. So we are here, HHN 18, guys. A long time ago, more than 10 years almost. Reflections of Fear was the name of the event. The icon, Bloody Mary herself. And we're going to go over the houses, we're going to go over the scare zones, we're going to go over the shows. I got a couple of surprises for you as well at the end of this video, including the actual commercial for the event. I'm going to show you a video with Jim Timmon, who used to be the Senior VP of Entertainment that year for the event. Going to explain a little bit about the event that year, and as well as the actual mirror entrance for the archway. So they used to concentrate a lot back in the day on the actual archways, where when you entered into HHN through the archway, there would be this interactive screen that coincided with the event, and it was awesome. I wish they would go back to it. I miss it. I really do, as well as an icon. I really do. Yeah. It's going to be awesome. You'll get to see the actual mirror entrance as if you were there. And it's a whole video. I think the video is about 7 minutes long. Interactive. It was totally interactive. Yeah, so let's get down to it and talk about the event, HHN 18. That year, it had 8 houses, and the houses are as followed. We had Body Collectors, Collections of the Past, and here is the picture for this house. And basically that house says as followed: with their history-shrouded legend, the collectors have been assembling a collection of untold numbers of souls for centuries, and using mass murderers and plagues to cover their ghoulish activities. These ghoulish artisans are constantly searching for the next specimen to add to their museum. But when there is no plague or Jack the Ripper, there are only collectors collecting. So that is Body Collectors, Collections of the Past. Pretty cool. Next house was Creatures. Go ahead and take a look at this one. And this house says, "Them creatures ain't their pa, yes son, them creatures. Creatures straight from the cover of Atomy Comics. Strange tales burst forth to rampage and massacre the backwoods locals. Join Johnny, Cleet, Jim Deedle, and the rest of the gang at the Butchered Buck as they fight off this terrifying invasion of creatures from who knows where." So yeah, that was Creatures. And on to the next house, Dead Exposure. Great house. I love this one. Go ahead first and take a look at this picture. And the bio for this one says, Charlie Macpherson, a noted tabloid photographer, has always wanted something more in life than photographing celebrities at their worst. One night, Charlie gets his wish when the city he resides in becomes overrun with flesh-eating zombies. Trapped in his downtown loft with bloodthirsty zombies, just outside, Charlie captures the last horror-filled moments of his life on film, and you are with him every step of the way. So it was definitely pretty cool. I love that house for sure. Next house is Doomsday. Take a look. And in this house of Doomsday, the bio says, post-apocalyptic Scotland breeds madness as the Reaper virus rages the populace, leaving those left behind after the plague to survive by any means necessary. Do you have what it takes to make it out alive? And that one was actually based on the blockbuster Universal picture released. So there's actually a movie based on that house. Next house was The Hollow. Take a look. And this bio for this house says, where do the traditions we observe each Halloween come from? It is said that every Halloween within the blackest parts of the forest, the Lord of the Underworld lives again, and the souls of the damned beckon you. If you journey deep enough, you will see the traditions are trapped within the Hollow. Sounds pretty cool. I love that bio. That's pretty cool. Awesome house. I love the Hollow as well. It was very dark and creepy, and I loved it. I absolutely love that house. Next house is Interstellar Taylor. Let's go ahead and take a look at that photo. And the bio for this one is, prided among the scientific community as the greatest achievement in the history of mankind, the NESO Columbus 1492 is the first manned spacecraft to leave the relative safety of our solar system. When the ship disappears for several years and then reappears just outside the orbit of our moon, your rescue team is sent to investigate. They find that an artifact the crew brought on board causes destruction and forces you to witness interstellar terror. Epic. That was a good one as well. Next one is the house based on our icon here, Bloody Mary. Reflections of Fear was the name of the house. And it says, for the bio, I will read to you after you look at this cool photo for the house. Alright, so the bio reads this. Noted Dr. Mary Ajana believed that if a subject was constantly forced to experience what they feared the most, then over time they would become numb to the idea of actually fearing it. Unfortunately for us, Dr. Mary's fear is that of death, and the only way for her to cure herself is to watch the light leave your eyes as your soul leaves your body. Scary. It was a pretty darn good house, and she is by far one of the, if not the best female icon I think we've ever had. Except Chance. Bloody Mary and Chance are like my top two favorites, but we'll get into more on Chance in another video. Next house is Scary Tales, Once Upon a Nightmare. And this is the final house to complete the lineup of 8 haunted houses. Here's the wallpaper. Alright, and the bio says, find yourself once upon a nightmare as you win your way across a landscape filled with cherished fairy tales as they've never been seen before. The evil queen scribe has written a new chapter on terror, where princesses don't get saved, children don't find their way out of the woods, and there is no escape from the rabbit hole. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all the haunted mazes for Reflections of Fear year 18 of HHN. Now let's get into the scare zones. You have a total of 6 scare zones for this year, and the first scare zone being American Gothic. Very cool scare zone. Take a look at this photo. And the bio for this scare zone is, some legends allow a simple man or woman to remain immortal. Some deeds so dark take a simple person and transform them into lore. America's past has been filled with these dark deeds, sordid characters, and unbelievable acts of horror. Reflect upon your own mortality. So that is American Gotham in a nutshell, and I remember walking through that one. It was an interesting one. It really was. Next scare zone is Asylum in Wonderland. This scare zone was neat. It was very creative. Go ahead and take a look at this wallpaper first. And the bio for this scare zone reads, stepping through the looking glass, you find yourself in the depths of Wonderland, journeying through the nightmare that Alice couldn't escape. The wonderful figures you once believed to inhabit this fantastical place has been peering into the looking glass themselves and have come face to face with Bloody Mary. So, yeah, good one as well. Next scare zone, Fractured Tales. They really took their time with the scare zone, and it shows. There was a lot of things to look at. Take a look at this wallpaper. And the bio for this scare zone is, enter your favorite fairy tales and find out what happens when Grimm goes wrong. Witness these stories through the lens of their reality. Look closely and you will find the terrible truths that lie just below the sweet appearance of these classic tales. You will learn a thing or two about yourself, but by then it may be too late. Creative. Very creative scare zone. I love that one. Next scare zone is The Path of the Wicked. And take a look at this one photo for the scare zone. And the bio for this one is, what if the Wicked Witch had won? Because every story has more than a few sides, view Oz as it has never been seen before. In this reflection, the Wicked Witch of the West has done away with Dorothy and seized control of the merry old land of Oz for herself. Now she'll get you and your little dog too. Very awesome scare zone. I love that one. They're just all so good this year. For 18, it was an amazing year. And the next scare zone was my absolute favorite scare zone, hands down, for this year for HHN 18, Reflections of Fear. And it was the Schoolhouse. Take a look at this wallpaper. Pretty awesome wallpaper. I love that wallpaper. So freaky. And the bio for that one reads, Mr. Renshaw's class has always been good. Mr. Renshaw's class has never broken the rules. Mr. Renshaw's class has always been perfect little angels. All of that changes when the kids from the schoolhouse cut class. The children of the quaint town of Cary, Ohio, are out to teach everyone that their version of trick or treat may be the difference between your life and death. So, by far, my favorite scare zone, like I said. And then the last and final scare zone for this year on HHN 18 was the Streets of Blood. And take a look at this wallpaper. And it doesn't really give a very detailed description for the Streets of Blood for this last scare zone. All that I know is I think it was based around vampires. Not entirely sure. Yeah, that is all of your scare zones for HHN 18. 6 scare zones in total. Now let's move down to the shows. We had 3 shows. First one, the beloved Bill and Ted's Excellent Halloween Adventure. Check it out. And it says this: join Bill and Ted as these two most excellent dudes encounter awesome heroes and bogus villains from the year's most memorable TV shows, movies, music, and more. Party on, dudes! So, I definitely missed that show so much. It was a big part of the event. So, but yeah. And then the second show was Brian Brushwood. Take a look. And the bio for this show reads, this year Brian Brushwood will appear with his world-renowned magic show, stuffed full of the most intense, riveting, and disturbing features you've ever seen before, live. Brian's show has been called amazing by Jay Leno, and funny, dangerous, and brilliantly original by magician Teller of Penn and Teller. So, must have been an awesome show, but I didn't quite make it to that show that year. I was more interested in the other two shows. But the last show is Rocky Horror Picture Show, a tribute. Take a look at this photo. And the final show bio says this: there is a light over the place. Join the wildest group this side of Transylvania as they present a live tribute to the cult classic film, Rocky Horror Picture Show. So yeah, that's all three of your shows for Reflections of Fear. We did it. We made it through the houses, scare zones, and shows for that year. Now let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the prices for this event that year. And the pricing information was the dates first ran from the September 26th to November 1st. And a single night admission ticket was $69.99 plus tax. Your frequent fear pass was $69.99 plus tax. So yeah, definitely a lot lower than what we are now, I can tell you that. Seems like it goes up every single year, but you know, it takes a lot to make these events. And yeah, as you know, the icon Bloody Mary herself, I thought she was a very excellent icon. Let's go ahead and view a few photos of her, random photos of her in the event. Take a look. So yeah, she's definitely creepy, as you can see from the photos. Icon Bloody Mary. And just wanted to read you the short bio for her label here. So it says, come face to face with the deepest fears of Bloody Mary, brings history's most terrifying urban legends to life at Universal Orlando's Halloween Horror Nights. Trapped inside on our streets, there's nowhere you're safe. It's the most immersive horror experience ever. As you can see, the shirt right here behind me, this was the shirt that year, the main shirt anyway. I never get the house shirts. I'm more of a collector of the main shirts of the event. Sometimes I'll purchase all of them, but I always get the main shirt every single year. This happens to be the main shirt for that year. So now let's go ahead and show you guys a few surprises here. And I really hope you guys enjoyed going through the Reflections of Fear HHN 18 with me. It was a good year. I remember actually driving home that year back to Ocala, which is where I used to live. And I forgot to turn on my lights in my car. I was traveling back home and got pulled over. I let the cop know, you know, it was late. I wasn't thinking, and he just let me go or whatever. He's like, yeah, just be more careful about it. But I actually remember that from this driving home after this event. it was tiring, you know. But great event. Let's go ahead now and show you guys the actual commercial for that year. Take a look.
Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary comes alive only at Universal's Halloween Horror Nights.
And that was it. That was the commercial for Reflections of Fear, HHN 18 here. Creepy. Really, really creepy, knowing that you just stand in front of a mirror and shout Mary, Bloody Mary 3 times and she appears. So now let's go ahead and show you that video of Jim Timmon, who used to be the senior VP that year, talking about this event, Reflections of Fear, for Halloween Horror Nights 2008. Check it out.
For Halloween Horror Nights 18, we knew we needed more horror content than we'd ever had before in the previous 17 events. Bloody Mary is one of the most widely recognized urban legends of all time. If you stand in front of a mirror and chant her name 3 times, you will bring her forth. You will conjure her. She's a spirit that will bring darkness and evil upon you. And so every guest to Halloween Horror Nights 18 is stepping through Mary's mirror and going to live that nightmare. Everything in Halloween Horror Nights 18 is based around an urban legend, a myth, a fairy tale, a nightmare, or a fable, and it all lives in the world behind Mary's mirror. So, for example, the body collectors, this house, you've heard of Jack the Ripper, you've heard of people disappearing and bodies disappearing and body parts. Well, this is where it all happens. Our guests are going to come into the event and they are immersed in Halloween from the second they come through the gate to the second they leave at night. Everywhere you go, on every street, is a scare zone. So more than we've ever done before.
And that was Jim Timmon talking about the event for Halloween Horror Nights 2008, the Reflections of Fear, and what you would have expected had you gone to this event. That's pretty much all I have for you guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video for Halloween Horror Nights 18 back in 2008. And I leave you now with one more surprise. And that's going to be the Archway mirror entrance video, where you're going to get to see, like I said, as you entered into the Archway, what you saw, which was a giant mirror with her actual introduction video. But I leave you now. Please subscribe on the links down below. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever you feel comfortable with. And please follow the Halloween Horror Nights website as more updates continuously come out for the next year. And yeah, with that in mind, I hope I'm just in time. Peace.
as a child are waiting to show you their darker side. I dare you to call out to me! Give me the power to show you my world! From the polished obsidian to the looking glass, I have watched and waited. Learning exactly what scares you. They are all inside, here with me. Just pass through. Say my name 3 times, and I will show you. Many have called to me, anticipating. Fear can imprison many personalities in a single superior mind, trapped by the screaming sounds of a frightened and uneducated sensibility. I watch and listen. They beg for me to hear them. These poor, unfortunate, they say my name over and over and over. Their deaths stream their deaths along and sets me free. Have you ever been cut by a shard of mirror? It's quick and precise. It opens and then the crimson appears, freed from its confines. Say my name. Allow me to feel the warmth once again. My face is a canvas, and you are the artist. You've come here to seek the truth. Are the stories, the legends you've heard true? What do you want to believe? That I'm nothing more than a child's game, conjured for the amusement of the innocent. Then defy your fears. I will show you a world where there is no happily ever after. For that is where I reside, deep within your subconscious, feeding on the fears of those little moments. The unexpected sound, the footfalls on wet pavement, the slimy tendrils that slap at your feet from under the bed. Call to me. I see all of your secrets, your desires,